Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Delta.app One Hub Racing here for the season finale. And we are here with the lads in P2. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action, and joining alongside me in the commentary box, as always, is Max. How's it going, Max?
Hello, how's it going? It's going good. It's the last race of the season. We still have to find our P3 for the Drivers' Championship. I'm excited. The weather is, yeah, it's wet, so this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, of course. And before we head over into qualifying, let's give you a quick little look at the circuit in question. Of course, the 6.2 kilometer circuit, 25 laps awaiting the driver, 17 corners, 11 to the left and 6 to the right, with two DRS zones, one down the run in towards turn number 5 and one down the Las Vegas strip in towards the hard braking at turn 14. This is going to be a very interesting race, especially with the weather conditions that are, of course, going to be plaguing some of the drivers here tonight. But honestly, we are in qualifying. I think we should head straight into qualifying and see what the drivers out there are going to do, because from what it's looking like at the moment, it's very treacherous out there.
Yes, and Rich already got out, but came straight. Yeah, came into the box straight again. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but yeah. The drivers are out, they have their wet tires on. It's raining heavily, and as one of the drivers is starting a first lap. Who is it? Who started his first lap?
I believe that is either going to be our P2 champion, Jacob, and yes, it is Jacob coming through turn number 4 now, as this would be where DRS would be activated, but of course in the wet conditions no DRS available for him at this moment in time. Braking just before the 100-meter border course in the intermediate conditions, very tricky braking zone as we come through turn 5, but it is purple so far from Jacob, and this is a corner which can catch you out, especially in the damp conditions, locking up the tires, tapping that outside wall and just absolutely ruining your middle sector time. But Jacob, apart from a little tap on the wall, he seems to have navigated it as safely as possible.
Yeah, so the thing is, I read myself a little bit into this track before, and this is like, because it's a street circuit, it's normal asphalt, so no special for like racetracks. So that means probably you got a little bit more problems with grip, and in the rain with a circuit that's you normally want to go a little bit less downforce. That's gonna be a little bit challenging, I think, and that's what we saw right now with Jacob also.
Yep, Jacob now coming through the final couple of corners as he runs down towards turn 17. Of course, going to be hugging that inside line to minimize the distance to the line, and it's going to be 47.3, which, considering it is still absolutely heavy rain right now, of course the drivers out there on intermediates, because it is going to get drier here in qualifying, and there is a potential right at the end for it to go to dry conditions. It's not a guarantee, but it is a potential. So we're going to be seeing what the drivers are going to make of that come the end of the session.
Exactly, as we, I think it's Moki who just crossed the line at 148.976. So they they are I think a little bit more far away than they would normally be in dry conditions, but considering the rain, they are still pretty close together, I would say. So I don't think we will be, yeah, I think we will see a good race later.
Absolutely, managing your ERS on a qualifying lap is going to be crucial for everyone as well, because it's very easy to run out of deployment, especially on the run towards the line, as you're going to see AK Rowe run out of deployment just as we head under the Louis Vuitton sign up above. And Chris there with an improved lap time of a 1:46.9, and we're going to see the times tumble down as the track does get quicker and quicker as the rain gets lighter, and of course the standing water on the track does quickly get removed by the intermediate tires.
So yeah, you did the P3 race. So what do you think when it's gonna be a little bit a little bit more drying up in the qualifying?
Well, I mean, in P3, it did stop raining right at the end. We were about 2 minutes to go, but the track was still very slippery, not suitable for the slicks at that point. I kind of messed up my timing coming out of the pits, so I wasn't able to get a lap in. But Jess, who was the other one that went for the soft tyre strategy at the end, she wasn't able to set a great time on the dry. So yeah, it just wasn't ready for the slicks at the end of qualifying. But you never know, approximate, it could be ready here in P2.
I think that's another big challenge for the drivers, nailing this timing for changing onto another tire compound and also having just more grip. I think that's more of a challenge as like using the ERS or managing ERS throughout the lap. You always have to nail these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And gaining the ERS back, it's not going to be an issue for these guys on their cooldown laps. So as long as they fueled their cars up to go for several runs, which it does look like these drivers have done, they're going to be able to go for a fast lap, a cooldown lap, gain the battery back, and then go for another fast lap until they think it is ready to come in and go for either a final set of intermediates or to push for a dry compound. As you see Lukey there, a 1:43.3, and that is exactly what I was talking about, with the time's going to be tumbling down as the session continues on.
Yeah, so he's getting a little gap to his contenders, because what we can't forget is we still don't know who's gonna be in the P3 for the Drivers' Championship, and yeah, Luki does a good job here right now in the qualifying for it.
Yep, absolutely, and of course the permutations, of course, for tonight into the battle for P3 is we're going to jump on board with Jonas, who has a big lock up at the rear tyres, snaps the car, tapping the wall, but fortunately he's got away without any front wing damage on that. Right now, obviously, it's looking like it's going to be between Luki and Salo, realistically, as Larkin would need Luki to finish down in P11 or 12 with fastest lap to even have a chance of P3 in the standings.
Okay, so yes, to be honest, of course, today we there's not we had a lot of sign outs earlier, so you don't see the usual amount of drivers. So it's gonna make it even harder for Larkin to.
Well, I mean, Larkin's obviously not the only one that is trying to get himself P3 in the championship. Of course, we have Salo as well, and of course, Salo needs to hope that Luki finishes outside of the top 7 to really have a chance, and he has to win the race also for that to happen, which, I mean, it is Vegas. It is one of those tracks where anything can happen. Of course, you can easily chip off a little bit of front wing. You can easily get some damage, or you can get the strategy absolutely wrong, because obviously, as we know, it is going to be raining towards the end of this race. But is it going to go to the wet tires by the end? In P4, sorry, it did get wet enough. In P3, it didn't start raining until the end of the penultimate lap.
So everything we can say is that you never know. It will maybe be a little bit more dry or not. So yeah, I think they now have to look and to know themselves what they can do, and yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see.
As we got Larkin through the middle sector on his flying lap right now, and of course he's purple in sector 1. We're going to see if he's going to be able to match out with a purple sector 2. Of course we don't know if it is going to be truly purple, but Lukey there going even quicker with a 40.8. Here comes Larkin, middle sector split, and it's purple in sector 2 for Larkin, 2.5 seconds up. Right now it's not going to trouble Lukey, so take that with a pinch of salt, the purple sector. But lap times are getting quicker and quicker.
Yes, and Larkin fighting here for this P3, of course, and it's looking good right now for him. At least to hold this fight, alive, keep it alive. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what we do. As Lawrence, I think, got into P3.
P2 there for Larkin. Salo will need to respond as he's about to start his flying lap. The rain is falling lightly, but it is still raining, so it is still going to be the intermediates. You see Chris in the pit lane. He's strapped on a set of the soft compound tyres. He thinks it's going to dry up at the end of the session. And there's a possibility that it could dry up. So it's all going to be about when this rain stops falling on track. And how quickly can the track completely dry out here.
Yes, exactly, and we can...
That's Rich out of the session as well. Sorry, no, Rich is already out of the session. That was Nicholas, sorry, at the turn 14, 15, 16 chicane at the end of the Las Vegas Strip where he's gone off. For a second I thought that was Rich potentially out of the session, but no, it was Nicholas having a moment down there, but Salo still on his flying lap.
Yes, and we can take a little look at the engine and gearbox penalties. Today we don't have a lot of them, so this is the two kick Saubers. Nicholas and Rich, they took their gearbox penalties. But yeah, interestingly, we mentioned in the beginning, there are a lot of drivers who should take at least one engine penalty, and yeah, they didn't take it, and yeah, that's I think it's interesting because there are a lot of drivers who are missing today. You can think about that what you want.
A lot of drivers missing indeed, and of course with the drivers, obviously 13 drivers. For Nicholas and Rich, as you mentioned, taking the gearbox penalties, as Salo pops up in the P3 there. It is going to be a bit of an easier race to take a gearbox at, due to the fact that a lot of drivers are not here tonight, and you also have great chances of overtaking you, especially down that Las Vegas Strip.
Yes, exactly, and also this, like we mentioned last week, this track isn't in the game for so long, so there will be, I think there will be drivers who can, who did start practicing it earlier, and there are drivers who just practice it because they have to race on it. That's I'm counting myself to the second kind of driver, to be honest. But I think maybe we are in for a little surprise in the race later, or yeah.
Well, potentially, we could very well be in with a surprise later in the race. Of course, there is 2.5 minutes to go. The rain is still falling, so I don't think it's going to dry out for the dry compound tyre. So it's definitely going to be intermediates to the end. So if I'm the drivers in the pit lane right now, I'm making sure I'm coming out on a set of the intermediate tyres because the rain is still falling.
Yes, exactly. They have to get their last lap in, I think, because I think they heard you. I think they heard what you said because now everybody is leaving the pits and getting the last lap in. So there could be also an amount of traffic right now, as since everybody is leaving the pits. Good thing we only have 13 drivers today. Yeah, in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. As I believe Jonas has come out on a set of the soft compound tyres, and that is not ideal. You can see him struggling. And in fact, the rain has actually stopped. So the rain has now stopped. If it dries out quick enough, Jonas could be on for a brilliant lap here. As we're on board with Salo right now, purple first sector, but he's coming up to some traffic in front. Could be handy for him in terms of slipstream, but will we have DRS activated at some point on this lap? As Jonas pulled off a qualifying masterclass here.
Oh yeah, it looks a little bit slippery right now as I'm on the onboard with him. The tires are still shining, and it looks very slippery, to be honest. But maybe next lap he can have a good lap with a lot of grip.
Yeah, he just needs to make sure he can get to the line before the checker flag falls, and he will have an opportunity. Because even though it might not be ideal on the first like 2 or 3 corners, it might all come to him in that middle sector, and that's where he's going to gain quite a lot of time versus these Inters. But Salo, by 8 tenths in the middle sector, he's on the run to the line. Is this going to be provisional pole for the Scuderia? Yes, it is. It is a 39.8 here. So checker flag is out. We got Nicholas coming to the line. He's actually just about started.
Very tough.
And Jonas misses out, so unfortunately for Jonas, wasn't able to get it done in time. Jacob is going to be the next man to cross the line. And of course we got one of the Haas's in behind, 2.5 seconds up for Jacob. Now this will be provisional pole position. The lap time is getting quicker and quicker. And I'm not sure if Salo was going for another run, but it's going to be interesting. I think Salo might have gone 1 lap too early.
I'm absolutely fascinated. We got our 3 third place contenders all lined up in place 1, 2, and 3. So that's gonna be a
Jacob
really
on
great
provisional
fight,
pole. Jacob to provisional pole position. We got Rowe now coming towards the line, and I believe it is going to be Lawrence in behind that. So let's see what Rowe can do. He's up in the P2. What about Lawrence? Lawrence up in the P2 on board right now with Kinney as Kinney heads towards the line. And let's see what the Williams man can do. He's up in the P3 as well. Salo not going for another lap, unfortunately for him. He's going to fall down the order. Here comes Lukey larking up to P2. Lukey has run out of batteries, run out of deployment, but is this going to be provisional pole? Yes, it is. Lukey up on the provisional pole, and now it is just Nicholas to the line. And Nicholas does not get himself any higher than P10. Well, there we go. That is, of course, qualifying wrapped up as we got Lukey taking pole position ahead of Jacob, who will join him on the front row. We're Larkin in P3, Lawrence in P4, Chris in P5, Kinney in P6, Rowe in P7, Mokwi P8, Salo P9, Nicholas rounding out the top 10. And outside of the top 10, we have Jonas in P11, and then Rich and Kermit, who, of course, did not set a lap time, unfortunately for them. So, interestingly, Jacob had won the Drivers' Championship and the help me real quick. Not manufacturers. Constructors. It's the constructors. Thank you. And he's also won the Constructors' Championship, but he's not easing down. He's still pushing. That's remarkable. Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, honestly, what's going on this season with all the drivers has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, Williams pushing the Alpines all the way in the constructors as well. Absolutely fantastic as well from their standpoint. And we're gonna have a little look at the standings real quick. So let's go ahead and bring that up just so you guys are able to see it. And for some reason, it is not. There we go. Right, so as you can see, Jacob is the P2 champion ahead of Kinney, who has confirmed himself in second place. The battle for third is what we are interested in here tonight, with Lukey 13 points ahead of Salo and 19 points ahead of Larkin, with a maximum of 21 points available for these three drivers. So really, Larkin needs to hope for an absolute calamity from Lukey, and hopefully he can capitalize on the poor qualifying for Salo tonight. And of course, as you mentioned with the constructors, yeah, Alpine wrapping that up last week in Abu Dhabi. Williams, unfortunately, commiserations to them, they're going to be in second place, and Mercedes are currently securing third right now. It is, of course, close between Williams and Mercedes, so there is a possibility that that could change by the end of the night. You never know. And then, of course, we got Ferrari in fourth, McLaren fifth, RB's in sixth, past seventh, Red Bull in eighth, Aston Martin ninth, and of course the Saubers rounding out the top 10. But yeah, that is what we are focused on tonight. The battle for third place. Lukey versus Salo versus Larkin.
Yes, I would give a lot to just have a little interview before and hear what is going on in their minds, what's going through their minds before this absolutely important race for them.
Yeah, absolutely indeed. And of course, let's go through the sponsors and partners here at Delta App One Hub Racing. Of course, our title sponsor at Delta.app. This is for over 18s only. All your investments in one app. Make smarter decisions like the world's top investors. Track your journey to success with Delta. If you use the command !Delta in the Twitch chat, or click the link in the YouTube description if you are watching this back on YouTube, you'll be able to use it to track your investments. And of course, Next Level Racing will of course provide some fantastic prizes for our drivers here in One Hub. Of course, sim racing setups where you can get yourself some fantastic setups for all of the F1 circuits. And of course, they do have setups that will be coming for the F1 26 DLC, which will be coming hopefully pretty soon. And of course, make sure that you do use the code OneHubRacing in checkout to get yourself a nice little discount. On top of that, Pure Sim Gear, where of course if you use the code OHR10P at checkout, you can get yourself 10% off, and some fantastic products there. Of course, sim racing gloves and Pure Sim Gear socks as well. Our partner at Vespatwin, of course, who sponsor our official apparel. Sim Grid as well, who of course, as we just saw with the standings, they make things so much easier in terms of just keeping track of the championship standings, because if we didn't have this, we would have to be using Google Forms, and Google Forms, as we all know, is an absolute mess to deal with. So SimGrid powers our standings and everything. And of course, last but not least, our charity, the Mental Health Foundation. Well, Lukey has done exactly what he's needed to do. He's put himself on pole position ahead of what should be a very interesting race ahead. And looking at what is going on, I believe in the rivalries as well, we did get word from Lukey. Did we get word from Salo as well? Yes, we did. So we had Lukey and Salo heading into tonight, brought into the rivalries. And of course, the question was put to him, One Hub Admins scrapping it out for 3rd overall. You guys have raced extremely well this season. Who do you think is truly the quicker driver? And are you confident of finishing higher than your rival? Salu saying, I wouldn't say I've raced well at all season. I've had a couple of solid results for sure. And first win, which is obviously a highlight. Though I think especially in the latter half of the season, Lukey has come alive. He's certainly the quicker and more talented racer. I think the world would have to end at this point for me to beat him. But it's great racing against him. It's been great racing against him this season, of course. Lukey saying, I think it's been an up and down season for the both of us. Well, it's been like that for a lot of the tier. I think Salu is typically a little quicker, especially in the later in the stints. Having a double-digit gap makes my life easier tonight. But my aim is to get a podium as a minimum. I'm confident I can beat Salu in the race, but it will be very difficult. So, Lukey and Salu, they're both giving each other the respect, and it is going to be it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top between the pair of them. Of course, Lukey does have the advantage of not only starting on pole position, but also the point advantage.
Yes, absolutely. So he just has to finish before Larkin and Solo. Then everything is going good for him. Yeah, they also have been. I just looked at like the overall standings and how they finished in the races, and I gotta say, Lukey and Solo only finished outside the points at one time, at one race. For Lukey it was race 9 and for Solo it was race 10. So that's when they had a place 13 at the end of the race. And I think at the Larkin had a lot more, or like DNFs and DNS, and he finished a lot more outside the points, but he was in the top 5 more than, I think it was 5 times. So he was a little bit more unstable within his season, but he when he delivered big. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, called into the driver's press conference this week was, of course, Josh, who unfortunately isn't here tonight. But the question was put to him: considering you joined P2 midway through the season, you seem to have done well, currently sitting 6th overall with some very good results. Are you confident you can take this form into next season and challenge for a title? Josh responding saying, I think I've done okay considering this has been my first time league racing. I definitely could have done better, and I definitely made more mistakes than I would have liked. I've learned a lot in a short space of time and think I still lack a bit of confidence. With that said, I will be bringing it next season, and I hope to challenge for the title. And of course, that is Josh, who, since coming into P2, he's actually been one of the drivers that has been constantly towards the front end of the field. Of course, we remember him joining in Japan and of course taking P2 by storm by getting a victory, and then backing up the following week with another victory in Bahrain, back-to-back race wins, and now of course started a brilliant climb to what is 6th in the standings right now.
Yes, I mean, he achieved something in his first race, which a lot of drivers cannot achieve in their whole career. So, yeah, to say that he would have, he wasn't quite pleased with his performance. I think it's a little bit of an understatement, to be honest, because he was in the top 5, except for the race number 10. He was in the top 5, and he finishes 2 times on the on the podium. So he won 2 times, let's say it that way. So that was his first 2 races. Absolutely incredible performance from him, and yeah, but we got the race start. I'm quite right now.
Yeah, we go to those 5 red lights, and we are underway here for the final time in P2. And it looks like a very good start there from Lukey as he holds on to the race lead heading into turn 1. Jacob holding on to P. Look at that in the background as we got both of the Hasses and I believe that's Kinney. All three of them getting dragged on each other. Absolute contact there in the mid-pack, and all three of them falling down the order. Not the start that those three would have wanted, that's for sure. As we got 2x2 like Noah's Ark in behind with Rowe and Kinney. And look at that switchback there for Chris and Salo, and they're able to gain positions there. Rowe going a little bit deep and just taking Kinney with him.
Yes, I think there will be some people going to the steward's room after this. To the steward's office, I'm sorry. And yeah, I saw someone, I think, yeah, Jonas is missing his right end plate. And what a start! What a start! I'm a little bit speechless right now.
What a start indeed. Now, just to give you some idea in terms of the strategy around here. Of course, normally in a normal two-stopper race, you're going to be pitting around lap 7, lap 8 off the set of the mediums and putting on a fresh set of boots. You can maybe push lap 6 and get a decent little undercut there, but because the rain is scheduled to come towards the end of the race, here comes the big question. Do you treat it as a one-stop and pit a little bit later off your set of mediums onto a set of hards and try and take the hards all the way to the rain? Or do you stick to a two-stop strategy and try and carve your way through the field once everyone does have the worn tyres towards the end? That's going to be the question for these guys.
Yes, I think I would be doing number 1, to be honest, going for the hearts and then trying to get have as much time on them as possible. So yeah, something which we maybe didn't notice right now because of the chaos, but one of the big winners of this start was actually Nicholas. He made up 5 positions, and he is now in P5. Really good position for him considering his season.
Yeah, Nicholas climbing up several positions. You've got Salo up at the P7 now, trying to look at the back of Chris. At the top as well, you got Lukey and Jacob, and it looks like Lukey potentially is going to be close enough to go for a move with DRS activated. He's not burning his ERS at this time, but he's just going to get on pure slipstream as Salo gets past Chris as well in the background. And right now, obviously, Lukey and Jacob, they have managed to break away from Larkin, which is not good for Larkin. He needs to try and switch his tyres on and get within DRS range if he wants any hope of staying in this fight.
Yes, I think he also could profit from...
Sorry, contact, major contact there, as you got Chris, Nicholas and Salo all making contact with each other. I think Salo might have got away lucky there, but Nicholas and Chris come into blows there on the start-finish straight, and that has meant front wing damage on both sides. He's lost both end plates, has Chris now, and that could be a conversation for the stewards after the race, that's for sure. But Nicholas, I think he had a poor run out of the turn 14, 15, 16 complex, and he just got absolutely swamped on both sides, and contact was made with Chris. And Chris then obviously went colliding into the wall.
Yes, that means Chris right now has a little bit of an aerodynamic disadvantage, I would say. Is that right? Is he missing his... I can see it right now. Very good.
I mean, Chris has definitely got some aerodynamic issues going on right now. He has lost a lot of that front wing. He's lost the end plate on the left-hand side, and he's lost a lot of the front wing on the left-hand side as well. So Chris is going to be struggling for sure. Meanwhile, back towards the front, Lukey and Jacob have traded positions once again, and you see Lukey closing in on the run down into turn 1, locking up the front tyres, getting the car slowed down. But he's just going to sit in behind Jacob for the time being. Now, of course, DRS is going to be helpful for Lukey, just to not really use that battery and just let his tyres come into play. So that's all he's got to do right now, is just let his tyres come into play and then push to try and build a gap before Jacob comes into the pits.
Yeah, I think timing the pit stops will be absolutely crucial today, as they are all right behind each other, and yeah, they are. I think they are. As you said, Larkin is right behind. He's just waiting for something to happen, and he made a little bit of time to Luke right now, and so they will fight it out eventually, I think. Solo has a little bit of a gap right now as we have a yellow flag.
Valkyrie's going on at turn 5, and that is not ideal for him. And here goes Lukey now for the race lead, and he's going to get that job done. Larkin's just going to sit in behind and let DRS drag him along. Same with Lawrence in behind that as well. Salo did close in quite a bit on the last lap, and that's not going to help him snapping the rear tyres like that. But Salo did close in a bit on the last lap, and he does have to do his best to close in. And Jacob looks like he's had a poor run out of turns 15 and 16 because Lukey's almost broken DRS to him immediately. And in fact, he momentarily was out of DRS range. And I think Jacob's very lucky right now to have DRS because it looks like that was very borderline.
Yes, that was very close. He was very close to getting out of the DRS of Lukey. And yeah, Larkin's sitting behind now in a comfortable position for him. He has to watch a little bit after his ERS, but that's all. That's all he has to do. He has to manage it a little bit. And yeah, as we got Solo approaching Lawrence, closing that gap also. He closed it from, I think it was 3.1 to now 2.6 seconds. So it's gonna be very interesting towards the end of the race. We will, I think, tactics is gonna decide this race today.
Now, here's what I would do if I was Salo. I would be thinking about the undercut. I would be thinking about potentially, obviously, chucking on a set of the hard compound tyres. And then when you get to around about lap 15, then get on the radio to your race engineer to find out what's going on with the weather conditions. I think Salo may be in at the end of the next lap to go for an undercut.
Yep. So you would suggest the undercut for Solo?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think I'm with you there, yeah.
Salo, he's gaining on Lawrence, but he's losing time to Larkin, Jacob and Lukey due to the fact that there's DRS involved. And they're not really fighting each other as of yet. They're just happy to trade the race lead back and forth, and Larkin's just happy to get towed along for the time being. So for Salo, he has to think a little bit strategic here and possibly go for the undercut, get the undercut on Lawrence, and hopefully by the time the likes of Larkin and Jacob come into the pits, he will be right on the back of him in DRS.
Exactly, and so he can get rid of this first of the two mandatory pit stops, and then he can decide when to go on the wet weather compound or not. So I think that would be, I'm with you there, I'm of the same opinion. I think it would be a good idea to try the undercut. I mean, yeah, he's nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to lose. Of course, he is now within DRS range of Lawrence, but let's see, is he into the pit lane? No, he's not, but Lawrence is. So Lawrence is thinking the undercut here at the end of lap 6 as we begin lap number 7. Salo, though, you see that gap, 4.4 seconds. I think Salo in the corners, he is closing in, but DRS is just pulling them away further once he gets close enough.
Yes, he's 4.3 seconds, 4.5 right now, I'm sorry, and I think the gap is way too big to Larkin, so I also would suggest the undercut.
You're seeing this now. I mean, Salo's got the. He's gained so much in the middle sector. I mean, at the end of the first sector, he was 4.5 behind, and he's got down to 4 flat. So Salo has the pace to close in. It's just a case of he needs to try and do something about this DRS, and the only thing he can do is go for the undercut.
Yes, exactly. And that's what so I think Luke here, by the way, is on the hard compound. So he will probably stay a little bit longer on the track before his first pit stop, I think.
Yeah, to be fair, if I'm Lukey, I'm possibly thinking another set of hards after this. I mean, we'll see if he's gone for the harder strategy or he's gone for a balanced strategy, as Larkin's into the pit. So Larkin has gone for the undercut, and so has Salo. It'll be interesting to see where they're going to come out relative to Lawrence. Lawrence coming down the start finish straight now. They are just being released from their pit box, so Lawrence, is he going to be able to get either of them? It's going to be close with Salo, and in fact Salo is going to come out behind, but fortunately for Salo, he's going to come out just ahead of Rich, and that is ideal for Salo. We did not want to get stuck behind Rich here.
Yes, exactly, and he got some DRS right now, but I think, yeah, maybe not for long. Maybe he can like drag Lawrence along with him, and they will switch positions on the back end straight. But yeah, right now he has a lot of work to do.
Well, here's the good thing for Salo. Obviously, he's going to have DRS on Lawrence now. He can use that to negate the DRS that Larkin has. Larkin is stuck behind Chris, who has wing damage, and he's stuck behind Nicholas as well. So this is going to be hurting Larkin here, and it's going to allow Lawrence and Salo to close up a little bit. Larkin has to get this overtake done right here, right now, on the Las Vegas Strip. He needs to at least get past Chris here with that wing damage.
Yes, for a moment I thought they will go 3 wide here, but fortunately they did not.
Yep, and there's a big snap there from Nicholas, and that's going to allow Larkin to get through with no issues at all. Chris still struggling along with the wing damage, but now no DRS of Larkin, no DRS of Salo, and Salo can just try and push after now, because we know in the middle sector he's got the pace.
Yes, exactly, and he has some free air right now, so he can just drive and until he reaches Quais.
Absolutely, and for Larkin, it's all about bringing that time down to himself and Jacob. Of course, we will be expecting Jacob in probably at the end of this lap. If not, if he doesn't come in this lap, he's definitely coming in next lap.
Yeah, exactly, as we got some support in the Twitch chat for Larkin.
Yep, J. Cole, a big Larkin fan, and of course he does want Larkin to upset the odds, come from behind and clinch P3 in the championship, but it is going to be... Oh, as Nicholas is at the moment, and that's caught Chris out as well. Lawrence is in the wall. Oh, absolute calamities there. Nicholas.
Solo going through.
Yeah, Salo going through, but he lost a lot of time because he had to avoid people in front of him, but my God, Lawrence here, he definitely's got a bit of damage there, does Lawrence, and yeah, he is missing his front left end plate, and that is a virtual safety car, which has absolutely worked in the favour of Jacob and Lukey here.
Yes, what a race. Now we got the safety car, and yeah, so Solo's tactic is a little bit yeah, in danger, I would say, but because now Luki has the slightly younger tires and still in front.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now I think it's going to be very difficult for Larkin and Salo to do anything about Lukey. They need to hope that Lukey has a horrendous time or absolutely guess the strategy wrong once the rain comes, or if it's going to come down hard enough. They need to hope that Lukey does make mistakes in his strategy to have a chance here. J. Cole in the chat saying, what timing for the front two? Larkin robbed, so the FIA.
Yeah, so don't say that too loud, but yeah, exactly. And yeah, we're now halfway through. So yeah, everything worked out for Luki very well, but they can, like you said, the rain is coming, and there can be things which can get your race upside down. But right now it's looking very good for him.
Yeah, of course, everything now a little bit spread out in the field, so we're just going to be able to see what kind of lap times these guys are going to be able to do in a bit of clear air. Heartbreak for Lawrence, so he's had to obviously come in and change that front wing, unfortunately for him, which has cost him a chance of a brilliant top 5 finish, which he was definitely on for. Now he's got a lot of work to do to get himself back into that position. Rowe has been promoted up to P5, Kermit promoted up to P6 because of it. Kinney all the way down in P8, which is not where we're used to seeing Kinney at all in this race, but Lukey now under pressure from Jacob.
Yes, speaking of Kinney, I think he was also in that little situation from turn 1 and lap 1 that costed him a lot of places. So yeah, but he fought his way back at least a little bit right now.
He has indeed, and for right now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at this gap between Larkin and Jacob, and it's not come down in the sector where it needs to come down, because on this straight, and of course in sector 1, where of course we got the other DRS zone, the gap is just going to increase and get bigger and bigger, and it's going to be more and more difficult for Larkin to come back in this race. But you never know what can happen in F1, so all it takes is one big mistake and he could be in with a shout.
Yes, indeed, and also like DRS will be deactivated if it's raining too hard. So if it's too wet, and so DRS wouldn't be an advantage anymore for Luki and Jacob, which are now playing that DRS thing out very, very well, as they stay on the top for yeah, now nearly the half of the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course Luki in this position will seal P3 in the championship. Of course, we only have 11 runners remaining here in P2, with of course the retirements of both Mokri and Chris. Heartbreak for Chris. He was absolutely in the wars from lap 1, of course, involved in that absolute carnage at turn 1 that you mentioned earlier with Kinney and of course Rowe. Nicholas out of the race, and that's a safety car. Safety car has been deployed here, lap 12 of 25. The full course safety car deployed, and now that is absolute reprieve for Larkin, reprieve for Salo, because now they can get themselves on the back of Luki, and there's also a reprieve for Lawrence, who can maybe get himself back into a brilliant position to see out what was a top 5 finish, which is what he was on for before the incident happened, and he now gets the opportunity of going again against Rowe. Now,
yeah, this is interesting right now because
smart. This is one thing I was going to bring up. If anyone's got another set of hards, do they come in and serve their 2 pit stops here under the safety car? And it looks like Salo has absolutely gone for it. Rowe's in the pit lane. Lawrence, of course, coming down the start finish straight. He's already done two pit stops in this race, so Lawrence can go to the end. Salo will be able to go to the end. Kermit is going to be into the pits as well. let's have a look at the pit stop situation. Salau, Lawrence, Kinney, and Kermit have all, sorry, not Kermit, Jonas have all gone for 2 stops, and Kermit has just done his first stop of the race.
So that means they are gambling that in the end of the race it won't be too wet for having the hard tires. Is that right?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It might not be wet enough for the intermediates to work. I mean, we saw in P3 earlier, the rain came literally on lap 24 at the start of lap 24. So there is a possibility here where the rain just doesn't come in time for these guys, but I'm sure all of them right now are frantically on their radio to their race engineer asking for the latest updates with the weather report.
Yeah, so maybe they watched the P3 race and said, well, yeah, we got rain in like lap 24, it doesn't matter really. We can do another lap on dry weather compound, so yeah, they're going for it, and I like it.
Well, J. Cole in the chat says, top 3 not pitting, massive mistake. And it could very well be a massive mistake, but of course the safety car is going to drag the race out a bit longer, so it might rain and get to the intermediates. As for the top 3 are hoping for, that it does turn to those conditions earlier, but you got to look at the fact that Salow's on fresh hards. He's gonna be able to get some moves done here, I think, because it did look like he's got the pace on the top 3 in the middle sector, and of course for Lukey, Salo is his nearest rival for P3 in the championship.
Yes, exactly, and he now, of course, could close the gap because of the safety car, and he has the fresher tire.
And he can go to the end. He hasn't got to stop again.
That's it. That's the thing. What I'm thinking about. If this works out, how we planned that, and how we saw it in P3, there would be could be a potential win for Solo.
Absolutely. Just going to quickly remind myself of the gap between Lukey and Salo coming in tonight. The gap is 13 points.
So we can look real quick how where Lukey does have to finish for getting the P3 in the.
Sorry, just cut in real quick. Five drivers do not have to make another pit stop. If it doesn't get heavy enough, they can go to the end. Of course, Jonas is probably going to want to pit again to get off those soft tyres, but they don't have to pit again, which of course, if they do have the good pace, I think we would imagine that Kinney, Lawrence, Salo, and Rowe, the 4 of them should be relatively competitive enough to stay within the pit window for these guys coming into the pits. If Lukey drops behind those 4 or 5 drivers, and he's still behind Jacob, and Larkin can maybe get him as well, Salo could be looking at P3 in the championship.
So we got everything turned upside down. Halfway through the race. Let's look at the pit stop situation. Jonas on P9 did already do 3 pit stops. Unfortunately, because of his wing damage. But yeah, he also could have profited a little bit of the safety car maybe. But yeah, of course the focus right now is on our P3 championship contenders.
So you got Lukey, Larkin, and Jacob all hoping that the rain comes. You got Salo hoping that the rain does not come until very late into this race, where it doesn't make sense to chuck on a set of the intermediates. But which way is it going to go? We are most likely going to be going racing at the end of this lap. So lap 16 will be back to green flag racing. At least that is the hope. We're waiting for the signal to come from the safety car, and there it is. The safety car is in at the end of this lap, so Jacob will control the pace. Lukey's P3 position is on the line with this strategy. Will he make it pay off? Will Larkin cost Lukey P3 in the championship?
This is exciting. We got the three contenders. We got them all lined up behind each other within 2/10 of a second.
And we are back to green flag racing once again, as it looks like everyone holding steady as Salo has a little look down the inside of Larkin there into turn 1, and he's got the run through turns 2, around the outside of turns 3 and through 4. Needs the launch that he'll need to get the job done, but he's just not got that launch. But he's having a little peek again down the inside just to keep Larkin guessing, I'm imagining, as Salo now needs to make sure that he doesn't overdrive the car, as Lawrence has fallen down the order. Not ideal for him. He was one of the drivers that needed to have a good restart, as he got wing damage. Well, he's got no front wing, so that answers your question right there. He does not have a front wing at all. Salo has put the pressure on Larkin to the point that Larkin is now out of DRS range of the top 2. And without DRS, Larkin's going to fall all the way down the order.
Yeah, I think it's remarkable how Luke and Jacob already are 1 second ahead of the rest of the field right now. They managed to extend the gap a little bit right now. Again.
Salo electing to not use all of his battery. Jonas making swift progress on those soft compound tyres, but of course they're not going to get to the end. Lukey having a little look on Jacob, and he gets the move done as we cross the start finish line to begin lap 17 of 25. Lukey now into the race lead. Jacob in P2, Larkin P3, but Salo P4 doesn't need to stop again for the remainder of this race.
So the question will be, when are the top 3 coming into the pits? When will they start their second stop?
Well, you can see 4 drivers, of course, have made at least 2 stops, and of course Lawrence has made another stop, but Lawrence needs another safety car to get him back into it. But of course, if another safety car happens, you would imagine the intermediate conditions will come if another safety car is to happen. The top 5 all in DRS of each other. As we have a fantastic look down the Las Vegas Strip. Salo had a little look. Is he going down the inside? No, he doesn't want to commit to it.
But I think it's the right decision, because normally you can only create chaos in that 14, 15, I think that's 14 and 15 the corners.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, you can only create chaos trying to overtake there.
Yeah, what Salo needs, he needs a good launch out of turn 4. Nice and early on the ERS. Use the DRS and just close up. As you see Larkin switching off his battery a little bit earlier in comparison to Salo. And you saw Salo close up, but then Salo went a little bit conservative on the battery. Not wanting to use it all just yet, but you see how close he's getting. He's just got that bit more grip on those hard tyres.
And I think that makes him having a little bit of an ERS advantage against Larkin right now.
Yeah, J. Cole in the chat saying Salo has just got to hope no rain and just play it safe. Yeah, absolutely. That's all he's got to do is play it safe. But he's right in the slipstream right now. And if he burns a bit more battery, he will get alongside Larkin here. Larkin switches off the battery. If I'm Salo right now, I'm burning just a little bit more battery just to try and get the move done on Larkin. But he is going to sit in behind. Oh no, he's going to send it down the inside. Go Salo. Down the inside. And he's got onto that curbing. And that has absolutely gone horrendously there for Salo. And now he's under pressure from Kinney.
So he has to close the gap to Larkin again as quick as possible. But as you mentioned, yeah, they the first three also have to do their second stop, and they don't have a lot of time left right now. So I think they are really hoping for rain or for another safety car.
Yeah, they are 100% hoping for the wet weather to come through for them. The issue will be, of course, if the rain does come, it is going to be very treacherous. So those that will stay out on the set of the dries to get to the end. So it could be a case of you may end up with a few drivers losing front wings, and of course more chaos happening.
I think in this race we lost more front wings than in half of the season of 28, because yeah, what was going on is absolutely, yeah, I don't even have a word for it right now, but you know what I mean. We had a lot of action today.
100%. Jacob closing in with DRS, and he is going to get the move done on Luki down the Las Vegas strip. Salo this time also going to sit in behind Larkin. This would be a good time to use the battery a little bit more. Of course, they're running at turn number 1, because a lot of people obviously, as you just saw with Larkin just a moment ago, they tend to turn off their battery quite early on the run down at turn 1. So if you're willing to just burn that extra 10%, you can have a look and get a move done into turn 1. And with the person ahead being Luki in P2, you're still going to get the chance of DRS down the run into turn 5, which we are just going through right now.
Yes, exactly, because, but also we had, of course, to say that going for a move in P1 is quite brave, as we saw Solo trying to overtake Larkin right after the safety car, I think it was. He defended that very good. Larkin defended very good, and yeah, it's still hard. I think even though you got the advantage, it's really hard to get around him.
Well, let's see what Salo was going to do. He's turned off the ERS before Larkin this time around. So he's not using all the ERS that he would want to just yet. Luki is just sitting in behind Jacob for the time being. Of course, he in this position right now. He will secure P3 in the championship. But now look at this, Salo with a brilliant run out of turns 14, 15 and 16, and again, like, he just jumps off the battery. If he's stuck to the battery, he could have got a move done. And you see Larkin, look how much he's closed up by burning a bit of battery.
Or maybe he hopes he can profit from a little bit of fighting when Larkin reaches reaches Luki. And also, well, I think he could save his battery.
Salo, I'm gonna look to the inside line. He's going to outbrake Larkin down the inside. Contact, wheel-to-wheel contact between the Ferrari and the McLaren. But Salo has got the move done, and he is now ahead of Larkin.
Yeah, what a move.
And there's no rain yet.
Yeah, a little bit wheel-to-wheel, like a wheel banging, but everything, as I can see, yeah, fair and square. Yeah, I think what my thought was, why doesn't he you know, just save his battery a little bit, and when Luki and Jacob have to go
And
to that
here comes the
second-
rain. Here comes the rain. The rain is falling here as we come down the Las Vegas Strip on lap 21. So it will get to intermediate conditions. We know it's going to go to heavy rain. So the rain's going to come down thick and fast.
Yeah, it started raining, and now once again strategy is coming into play.
Ooh, Larkin. I think Larkin might have just been caught there. Crossing the right lines to come into the pit lane entry. We'll have to have a little look at that at a later point. But yeah, Larkin and Kinney on the intermediates, and I think coming into the pits right away, probably the best course of action, because the rain is going to come down quickly, and you're seeing out right now they're struggling for grip already.
Yes, it's all. It also looks a little bit shiny. If we have a look to the wheels, it's a little bit more shiny than it was before. And yeah, I think that was a good decision from Larkin there, and also from Kinney. I think yes, it was Kinney, right? Yeah. So there's just one question: when are Luki and Jacob are going to pit? Because normally they have to right now, because it's not getting any drier. It won't get any drier until the end of the race, and I'm not sure if they could hold up with that hard tires, and they have to do their second mandatory pit stop.
Well, here's the question now: if you're Salo, do you just stay out and just try to get to the end on the hards?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I think that what also he thought when he.
No, he's in. He's in. I think it would have been too hard to stay out in the dries, and I think while Salo might not get P3 in the championship now because of this, but I think it was the correct decision just to get him to the end. But let's see where Kinney and Larkin are going to be relative to the race leaders. Coming down the south in the straight now is Kinney. And is Kinney going to jump anyone? He's going to be just behind Salo. In fact, he's going to be side by side contact, and they're in the wall. Salo and Kinney.
But they are up and away. I think Kinney lost his left end plate, and
I think Salo is broken his front right as well.
that's unfortunate.
No, Salo's okay. Kinney definitely has got wing damage, but Salo seems to have got away with that without wing damage. But that has pretty much now confirmed that he's not going to be fighting for the race win. Luki is leading the race, and he is on course for a race win. Jacob is the closest person to be able to take that away from him, but Jacob is just over a second off the back of Luki here.
And that means right now, if it stays how it is, Luki will have the P2 of the P3. I'm sorry, the P3 of the Drivers' Championship. But to be honest, yeah, maybe I think it was just a gamble that the rain will come a little bit later from Solo in that case. Yeah, unfortunate that it didn't work out, but I think it was still a brave gamble.
Yeah, I mean, the intermediates were definitely the quicker tyre, and I just don't think that the grip would have been there for Salo to stick it out on the hards. I mean, you're seeing how much the rain is falling already. It's only going to get worse on the hard tyre, so he definitely made the right choice in coming in and putting on a set of Inters. It's just a shame that him and Kinney had that moment with each other on the pit lane exit.
Yes, exactly.
But penultimate lap of the race, Luki is doing everything he needs to do, and it looks like he's going to get P3 in style by possibly taking a race win here.
has been DRS disabled? I don't think it is. Is DRS still on?
Not entirely sure. We'll have to check on Row when they come through the DRS detection, because Row is within DRS, and as is Jonas right now on Kinney. So we'll have a little look now. And if Lukey does see this out to the checker flag, that will be his first race win of the season. I just had a little look then. So Lukey yet to get a race win this season. He's on course for a race win here. And DRS has been deactivated.
So yeah, that would be also his first win of the season. I'm just seeing that. So yeah, last race he got the P2. Now he's going to P1 to win the race if everything plays out until the end of the race.
Yep.
So yeah, let's see.
Lukey is one lap away from victory here in Las Vegas. All he needs to do is just keep his composure. Larkin is closing up to the back of Jacob. So that could be something by the end of this race, because Jacob does look like he might be struggling just a little bit in these conditions. And if Larkin can get close enough and get a good launch, he might be able to get it done. He does have more battery to his name as well, does Larkin. So the run down the Las Vegas Strip is going to be very, very crucial.
Right now he is going a little bit yeah, he's building up the gap when I'm correct.
Well, Lukey coming down the Las Vegas Strip for the last time here in P2 to cap off what has been a fantastic season for him. And he's going to seal it. As long as he can get for the last couple of corners, he's going to seal it with a race win, with a P3 in the championship. As we come through the final few corners, Lukey's going to come through.
Lose the car.
And he's
lose the car right now.
He's weaving already. He knows he's got it in the back. Lukey through the final corner takes victory here as Larkin gets close, but not close enough to get Jacob. Meanwhile, the battle for P5, Jonas, Kinney and Rowe, as it looks like Kinney might have the ERS to make this a bit of a drag race to the line. But oh, Kinney contact with the wall at the end. The wing damage not helping him. Salo comes home in P4. Jonas P5. Kinney P6. Rowe in P7. Then we got Kermit, who's ghosted right now for me, and I'm not sure what's going on there. But Kermit gonna come through and collect P8, with Lawrence going to come through and collect P9. What could have been for Lawrence if things didn't go against him in this race. And Rich will see out the final race finisher in P10.
Yeah, so hard a race.
There's definitely going to be a lot of discussions, I think, after this race. There was a fair few contacts that were happening. Kinney definitely was involved in a few of them. Obviously, the Hasses and Chris and Rowe, of course, caught up with Kinney on lap 1. The three of them making contact. And, of course, we had Salo and Kinney making contact as well after the intermediate pits. But Salo does get the Driver of the Day vote. And Lukey, pole position, race win, fastest lap. Lukey takes away the entire Grand Slam of this race.
He had a perfect race.
A perfect race for Lukey to cap off the end of the season. Can you believe it? But it is Lukey who takes the race win ahead of Jacob in second, Larkin in third, Salo in fourth, with Jonas in fifth, Kinney in sixth, Rowe in 7th, Kermit in 8th, Lawrence in 9th, and Rich rounding out the top 10. Then outside of the top 10 were our non-finishers in Nicholas, Chris, and Mokwi. And that is, of course, a fantastic result for Lukey. And of course, Jess in the chat saying Lukey's first win since season 24. And now, before we wrap things up here tonight, Max, we got to do our Driver of the Day votes. And I know who I'm giving my Driver of the Day to. And it's going to be a boring one, but I've got to give it to our race winner in Lukey. And my question to Lukey is, fantastic result this weekend. A perfect race, pole position, race winner, fastest lap. Absolutely incredible pace throughout. Did you feel that the strategy might have got away from you with the rain not coming until late? Did you feel that the safety car might have potentially cost you the race win? That would be my question to Lukey.
Yes, that's a good one. My driver of the day is Jacob, because I think I had Jacob 1 or 2 times as a driver of the day, I gotta admit that, but I'm a big fan, to be honest, and he had the championship, both championships, and he still pushed to that P2 at the end of the race. So yeah, my question would be a little bit the same as yours, because he had the same strategy as Luque. So yeah, what did go to your mind when you when the rain did eventually fall down and your tactics went to work? I will do a better question later. I promise that.
Fantastic stuff. So before we wrap things up here tonight, we'll run through our sponsors and partners here again. Of course, to Delta.app, next level racing, sim racing setups, pure sim gear, our partner in Vespertwin, and of course, Sim Grid and the Mental Health Foundation. Well, that is it. Season 28 in the bag for P2. It is Jacob who takes the P2 Drivers' Championship. Kinney in second place in the championship. And Lukey stealing third in the championship with a fantastic result with a race win, fastest lap and pole position combination here tonight. And of course, the Alpines collecting the Constructors' Championships. Before we actually wrap things up tonight, do you have any highlights of the season so far? Like now we're all done. Have you got any highlights?
That's I think I got highlights. I mean, last race was great. I think this race was my highlight. We had so much different strategies going on. Weather events and safety cars. I think we have been absolutely a great entertainment tonight, and yeah, I think this race is my highlight of the season. What's yours?
Honestly, now you put me on the spot here. I wasn't prepared for you to turn this question back on me. Honestly, I think this race, obviously, it did have its ups and downs. For me, though, just because I absolutely adore the track, Japan will always be my race of the season, and that will always be my highlight. So Japan for me, of course, Josh's introduction into P2, and he comes through with the race win as well. So that is my highlight for the season. Of course, China was another brilliant race as well. But that is going to be it from us tonight. And we will be going live in a few moments for P1 with, of course, Jess and Jamie taking you through the action in the top tier. So make sure you guys tune in about 10 minutes time as P1 will take to the track and see off the final race in season 28. I've been Michael Edwards, he's been Max, and we'll catch you next time when season 29 launches.
Good night, everyone.